Hello and welcome to Construction Week's expert interview series, where we speak to some of the top stakeholders within the construction, infrastructure, and real estate sectors. Joining us today is Zeina Khoury, the CEO and the Chief Growth Officer of Highmark Real Estate in the UAE. To start off, thank you, Zeina, for joining us today on the show.
Thank you, Anup. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you here with us, Zeina. Could you share an overview of the Dubai real estate market and share your perspectives on when the market is likely to bottom out?
Wow, this is like the billion-dollar question because $1 million is not enough anymore. Well, Anup, real estate worldwide was affected this year by COVID and the lockdown. We've clearly seen a significant drop in most industries. So it's not only related to real estate. Probably the only sectors that did well were the technology and healthcare. So activity in real estate is very much related to the overall economy. Mm-hmm. Hence, this crisis did not affect the Dubai market differently than it did in other parts of the world. However, in saying that, we've seen that the effect was softer than the global financial crisis in 2008 because there's been a lot of comparisons between these two crises. So we continue to see a lot of transactions in April and May, which is when the strict lockdowns were in place. If you compare it to 2019 numbers, we saw a drop of around 50% in terms of volume of sales. As for June, after the lockdowns have been lifted, we see that there's been a lot of recovery, where we expect, for example, to close the month of June at the rate we're going at around 4.5 billion dirhams, which is in comparison to June 2019, it was 5.4 billion, which is in fact only 17% less than last year. And historically, summer months have always been the slowest in Dubai. However, this year, the lockdowns might work in our benefit. So a lot of people that usually leave Dubai in the summer are staying here. So probably we will see more activity. At the end of the day, no one can really predict the future. As for the market bottoming out, we will have a clearer idea when the airport activity goes back to normal and we are able to assess how many people are really leaving the country and how many people will actually take Dubai as a new home for them.
Speaking about a new home, a number of experts have pointed to the fact that Dubai is overbuilt for its population. In order to spur demand in the market from owner-occupiers rather than just owners, will the UAE need to look at longer-term visas for white-collar workers? In fact, even go up to the extent of permanent residencies like Saudi has?
Well, there are a lot of things that the UAE, I am positive, will actually look at. There are two ways, there are two sides to the equation. There's a supply side and there's a demand side. So the government already addressed the supply side by creating a committee to control the supply of the units in the city. So they are not allowing any new projects unless it really adds to the value of the real estate picture in Dubai. As for demand, the government already started a few initiatives. You spoke about the long-term visa. So we've recently seen the 10-year visa plans that was announced probably a year or 16 months ago. They dropped the costs of setting up businesses. We've seen that now there are many areas where expats can have full ownership of their businesses without the need of a local sponsor. There are talks behind the scenes about a pension fund for expats. We saw that the central bank increased the loan to value on mortgages. So now you can take up to 80% instead of 75% if the property is less than 5 million dirhams. We've seen many developers offer long-term payment plans. The fixed rates with the banks are at around 2.99%, which makes it the lowest they've been in the past 10 years. For example, we saw a couple of days in the news that Abu Dhabi have offered to help commercial properties by offering a refund of 20% on their rent. And I believe UAE will follow. And they have done a great job in addressing the pandemic. And definitely the next few steps that they are going to take to attract demand are going to be extremely important.
Will Dubai renters be able to ride out the fall of the COVID-19, especially like you mentioned, with job losses, pay cuts coming to the forefront?
These are tough times. It is not something that we have not seen before. I believe we are in a much better place than 2008. And if we've managed to ride the wave of 2008, there is no reason why the UAE will not bounce back. So responsible individuals wanting to stay in Dubai will need to follow severe cost-cutting plans to make it through this period. Worldwide, people have lost their jobs. This is not something specific to Dubai. And a lot of people cannot afford to pay rent or even pay their mortgages. And Dubai is no different. Now is the time to renegotiate your rent, get a settlement with your landlord, something that suits them and their finances and suits you and your finances. And if this means moving from a 4-bedroom villa into a 2-bedroom apartment, you need to do it. You need to restructure your mortgage. You need to consolidate your loans. Now is the time to sell your car if you have financial difficulties. If we are not willing to do these compromises to be able to safeguard our future, then we are not really in need.
That's true.
If you have 5 gold watches, it's time to sell one. And I think after this pandemic, we've realized the importance of having a home. We've realized that if you don't have a home, and if you don't have food on the table, you don't have anything. So a lot of people go towards buying luxury cars, but they are renting their apartment. Sure. Where are you going to sleep in times like these? In your Ferrari? So let's just be more reasonable.
Right. Thank you, Zeina, for sharing your insights. It was really good to hear from you. Thank you once again for being candid and open and straightforward with your answers. For those of you watching, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more such interviews with experts in the industry. That's all for now, and until next time, goodbye.